Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday night football to you. Happy almost Friday to you. Anything else I can think of? Thanks for jumping on board with me tonight. Got a good game tonight, Thursday night football, second week. We got the Chargers traveling to the Chiefs. Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes. Should be a damn good game. Anytime Patrick Mahomes is in prime time, he is must see TV for sure. Always must see TV with Patrick Mahomes. Sean Young, what's good, bro? First out the limo, number one, Sean Young. 3 days from crushing the Minnesota Skull. Yeah, we're gonna get into that, man. We got some heavy hitters, man. Lance Skylark, second out the limo, number two. What's going on, Lance? Thanks for joining me, man. We just learned, yeah. Lance, we're gonna get into that, man. We definitely gonna get into that. What's up, Pop? My dad's number three. D Money, sup, bro? Number four out the limo. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you joining in. But it's a good week. Good week of football, man. We got some stuff going on tonight. Can't wait to see this game tonight. First game that's on Amazon Prime, I believe. So, you know, if you got Amazon Prime, you'll be watching the game. Me being the nerd that I am, I'll listen. This joint right here, I will be watching the game tonight on my Oculus, on my Meta Quest, whatever they want to call it now, the Meta 2. But they've got an Amazon app in there where you can watch movies and stuff, and in the VR, it looks like you're in a theater. So I'm going to pick one of those theaters where it looks like you're in one of those IMAX theaters, and I'm going to watch the game. It's a pretty cool experience. But anyways, Wayne Miller, 34-31. I see you. Not too far off of what I'm thinking. It's gonna be a good game. We got some things to work out. What's up, Ed? Ed McDowell in the building. We got some issues, but let's get talk about the news real quick. You guys know we lost Barnett, tore his ACL, so he's gone. The silver lining in that. The silver lining is this. Now that Barnett is out, are they going to play Hassan Reddick on the edge more? And if that's the case, that's why we brought him in. We brought Hassan Reddick in. Number one, he's a hometown kid. He's from right across the bridge in Camden. But he had 11 sacks last year off that edge. That's why we brought him in. We need that type of production. So you can't bring him in and then put him somewhere else and expect the same type of production. That doesn't make sense. If coming off the edge is what he does well, let him do what he does well. That's always the thing the criticisms you get with these coaches that come in and they want to try to fit everybody to their scheme. You do not do that. I don't care if I'm coaching GT Stallions at 10 years old all the way up to college, into the pros. You can't fit special players into your role. You got to fit your coaching style around what you have. You got to do that. I always tell a story. I was coaching Gloucester Township football, GT Stallions, second to none, better recognize. I had this kid on my team. I forget what his name was. This kid was physically the biggest kid on our team, biggest and strongest kid on the team, and one of the fastest. But he was a sweet kid. He's not the type of kid that I could tell, like, I need you to, get to the quarterback and tear his head off. He didn't have that type of personality. So that's not something that you can ask of him. But I had another kid. His name was Seth Henry. This kid was probably 90 pounds soaking wet. but that joker was a pit bull. And if I said, Seth, I need you to get to the quarterback and take his head off, separate him from the ball, that's exactly what he would do. Wasn't scared to fight you. He had a fake tooth, so he would pull out his tooth and be ready to rock and roll. But that was the type of personality he had. So that kid, I could ask of that. I could tell him, go take his head off, and he could do it. So you got to know when as a coach, when you say know your personnel, you got to know what type of personalities and what type of talent you got on your team. It gets a little bit more complex at the pro level, but it's basically the same thing. Basically the same thing. What's up, Frank? We were just talking about that, man. I was just saying, bro. Anytime Patrick Mahomes is on prime time, he is must-see TV. You never know what that guy is going to do, and everything he does, even if it's from the hip, even if it's impromptu, it looks like he's been practicing that since he was 3 years old. So, and Justin Herbert, the unicorn, I call him the unicorn. Justin Herbert came in, Joe Burrow came in and just lit it up. You don't see that often. That's half the reason why a lot of these quarterbacks now have such a short shelf life. People, when you're a top pick, they want you to come in and be good now. And that is not the case. That's why Justin Herbert is a unicorn. I used to say that about Allen in Buffalo, but that's not the case either, because Allen didn't really turn it around till his third and fourth year. His first year, he was garbage. They wanted to run him out of town. That was one of the arguments I would have for people that didn't like Hurts at the beginning. He had the noodle arm. He can't throw. He's not accurate. All of that kind of stuff. They said the exact same stuff. I went back and found articles in Buffalo, in the Buffalo newspapers, where they wanted to get rid of Josh Allen. They just think he didn't. They said he had a strong arm, but said he couldn't hit a mirror in the bathroom. But they kept him. They let him develop, and then you get what you get. So you got to let these quarterbacks and these players take their lumps, especially at the quarterback position. You got to let them take their lumps. People must, most of y'all watching, I'd be curious as to how many of you all had a chance to see Troy Aikman actually play. And do you remember Troy Aikman's rookie season? Do you remember Peyton Manning's rookie season? Peyton Manning, I believe, broke the record for interceptions for a rookie quarterback. He was that bad. But back then, you knew what you had to do to develop your franchise quarterback. And look what Peyton Manning turned into. Look what Troy Aikman turned into. Look what Tom Brady turned into. Tom Brady was a fourth round pick? Didn't play until his third or fourth year, whatever it is, when Bledsoe got hurt. So you got to let these people take their lumps. And I'm so happy that we are in a situation where Jalen Hurts did enough last year to warrant us to want to invest in him as our franchise quarterback. At the very least, he gets the opportunity this year to prove he is that guy, and he deserves it. Now, if it turns out he is not that guy, then we'll do what we got to do. But he earned the right to do that. You don't just go to the Pro Bowl. You don't do that, because you look at a situation where just imagine if Jalen would have just sucked last year. And going to the Pro Bowl is like an addendum to what people would say. Man, Jalen Hurts can't play. If he goes to the Pro Bowl, then maybe we can keep him, because that shows he does what he does. And we're going to talk about what he does and the effect that it has on defenses. So it is incumbent upon fans and coaches to let players play. They got to play through whatever predicaments they're going through. I did not think when we got rid of Carson Wentz, I didn't think that was a good idea, because at the time, and stats and you could do your homework, and it proved that Carson Wentz was going through the same thing that other quarterbacks in his level at the same time period, they went through that slump. Third or fourth year, you kind of go through a slump, and then they would all play their way out of it. And I didn't understand why. We know now there was other things going on, but it was like, no, you let him play his way out of that. Doug Peterson, what are you doing? Let him play his way out of that. I didn't understand. Well, hindsight is 2020, and we got what we got now. So, but you look at Carson. He had a good first game, so we'll see if that continues. It is not. We were considered the NFC least for the longest time. I don't think that's the case. Maybe with the Cowboys, and you can cut you a big slice of humble pie with that. Maybe with the Cowboys, because the Cowboys just look hot garbage. They look horrible. Even before Dak got hurt. So the Eagles look good, but we got issues on defense. The Giants look good. Saquon Barkley looks like he's back. The Redskins look good. And they got a good coach. So the NFC East, I don't think it's going to be just this cakewalk that everybody thinks. So, and I always like to go back to look at all of that stuff that that Kelsey was saying. Like, we ain't won crap. We got to get out there and prove it every week. It don't matter what we did last week. It don't matter what we did, good or bad, against Detroit. It makes zero difference what Gannon did versus Detroit. All that will be rolled out if he switches things up and we ball out against the Vikings. We got past last week with a win. That's in the past. Don't matter. We got to look forward. All you got to do, I used to tell my kids, all you got to do is win the next play. If you don't win this play, you can already forget about it. I need you to win this play, the one that's coming up. That's the only thing that matters. So the big question, everybody's, because it's all in the news, and I did some homework this week because I started listening to the podcast and the media in Minnesota. I want to see what they're saying. I did it a little bit last week with Detroit, but I listened to a lot of the Minnesota media. Got a couple friends that I work with that are Minnesota fans, and I listened to a couple radio shows and some podcasts today just to see like where's their head at. How does Minnesota see Philadelphia? And it was interesting because for all of the gripes and stuff that we have, they got some of the same issues on their team. They just talk about it in a different way, but it's the same problems. But one of the things I picked up is, number one, Hassan Reddick and Kaiser White. They kind of think that they are one-trick ponies. But they're saying that because that goes back to what I was saying earlier about Hassan had 11 sacks off the edge. So if you want to call him a one-trick pony off the edge, go ahead. I'll take those 11 sacks. But you got to play him there. So they're asking the same questions that we're asking. We brought Hassan Reddick to come off that edge and wreak havoc like he did against us. Why do you have him back in coverage? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me anyways. But Gannon has his reasons and he did what he did. So we'll see what's going to happen going forward. Vikings have a screen game to their tight end and also to Dalvin Cook. So they're going to be looking to exploit that because they're watching the same tape that we did. They watched Swift gut us because they kept running the traps. They were letting the defensive line come upfield, and it makes it easier to trap. If a defensive tackle or defensive end is 1 to 2 yards upfield and you got somebody pulling, it's easy to take him out or to push him out because he's already behind the line of scrimmage. You're trying to clear that path so the running back can get room. We gonna watch a piece of that. So it was almost like an Aikido move where Detroit offensive line was using our momentum against us. And you know what? They kept running it. You know why? Because we could not stop it. On the flip side, that's one of the things that I'm always critical, and it builds a lot of frustration with me, because if we're going to run the ball, if we run in plays and they can't stop it, don't stop running it until they stop it. Keep gutting them. We had some good runs by Miles Sanders. And the one thing that I just knew, I knew this was going to happen. You guys heard me say this weeks ago. You guys heard me say this in camp. First 2-3 weeks of the season, tackling is going to suck. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So, you know what? Let's jump right into this right now. I told you, if you guys were following me, what's up, Quentin? I'm getting text, Quentin Michael. I'm going to try to get Quentin Michael on the show. He texting me right now. But I'm definitely going to try to get him on the show. But one thing I wanted to show, I told y'all we was going to watch some film study if you was following me on Facebook. But check this out. This is Swift's. This was the 54-yard run, right? So watch what happens. So it's basically an off-tackle play. He's going right off the, I would call that like a 5 play. 1, 3, yeah, that would be like almost like a 5 play, 3 or 5 play, depending on how they scheme is set up. But look, he runs right through there. Now, on a play like that, you're gonna see it again. We're gonna look at the close-up. Now watch this. Now, you saw that man go in motion. You see that man go in motion. He goes in motion, so that lets you know that this man coverage. Now watch Bradbury come up. Boop, boop. Bradbury is my man. If I'm the running back, Bradbury is my man. James Bradbury is the guy I got to beat. And he put a little move, went inside, and Bradbury committed. And he left his ankles in the dirt. I got right there. Bradbury had position, put a little move on him. It doesn't take much. Kaiser White's not going to catch him from behind. That offensive line got enough of Kaiser White. Kaiser came off the block pretty good. But the offensive lineman got enough of him where he couldn't catch. And again, you can't throw no arms at a running back. And he got the 54. That's how it works. And those same traps, that same play calling scheme, expect to see that against the Eagles defense until we figure out how to stop it. Until Gannon puts something together, we attack that nose, we come with the odd front, get the big man in the middle, and let him clog it up. We're going to keep seeing that. Because now, one of the things you got to understand is a big reason why we got gutted like that is because nobody has tape on anybody. That's why they go. That's why the joint games in camps are so important. Because if you just go to practice, even in the preseason games, they don't show nothing. Everything is vanilla. Everything is vanilla. Jeremiah, what's good, man? Hey, yo. Everything is vanilla in the preseason. They don't show you squat. So a lot of the stuff that you see in the first game is system shock because you haven't got film on it. What they end up doing for the first week is they go back and look at what teams did last year. Just to try to, if you got a team with the same set of coaches and stuff like that, they try to go back and look at what they did against other teams in the previous year because that's all you got to go off of. If you coming across a team that's got all new coaches and stuff like that, if they'll go look at what that team did with a different squad, just so they can try to pick up some tendencies and stuff like that. But for the most part, they don't know what they're dealing with. So you got to adjust on the fly. And I think the Detroit offensive line is pretty daggone good. And they got the best of us because we, as the Eagles defense, didn't know what to expect. And that worked both ways. That worked both ways. Because one of the things that Detroit was doing, let me see. One of the things that Detroit was doing, is this the right one? Yes. This is the one thing that I kept seeing. I think I saw this about 4 or 5 times in that game. You look just outside of Lane Johnson at our right tackle. What do you see? You got Hutchinson and Harris. Now, you remember, I talked about both of them last week. Hutchinson is the number 1 pick, and the kid's pretty good. Harris is arguably their best player on defense. They got him on the same side. So they're overloading that side. The receiver's not going to come down and block. The running back is on the weak side, so he's not coming across the quarterback's face to get one of those defensive ends. And even if he does get over there, who is he going to block? He's outmatched. He's outmatched by about 40, 50 pounds. So that they're not going to do that. Gainwell's either going up and being a hot route or he's in the pass pattern. But Lane Johnson is going to pick up one of them. He's not going to pick up both of them. So the problem is that's where they're coming. That's where the hot read should be. Now, and this is a situation where even if there is a hot read on that side, Jalen can't get to it unless that hot read is a slant, and he's going to be in that window right in front of Lane Johnson. You see that window. There's nobody there, so that's a clear viewing window. So if the receiver does a slant as a hot route, he can see it. But if it's anything else, there's no way he's going to see it. Now watch what happens. Comes right out of there. Hutchinson goes on the guard, and luckily Jalen just slips through it and goes and gets the sticks. First down. He steps up. Nothing's there. He can't hit Goddard going across. He doesn't have enough time to wait. Hutchinson's in his face. Kelsey slides over and picks up that tackle right there. Hutchinson just missed the tackle. Hurts just greased out of it and got to the sticks. Now, because of stuff like that in the RPOs, that's why teams respect Jalen Hurts so much. One of the things that I heard on the station in Minnesota is Minnesota respects Hurts' ability to run and pass. And I was glad that the guy said that because he doesn't know all of the stuff that we're going through. He doesn't know all the noodle arms and all of the polarizing talk that we've had on both sides, whether you're for Hurts or against Hurts. I don't like Hurts. His arm's not strong enough. He can't see the defense, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff. Mind you, those were valid criticisms from last year. Everything you said was valid. He missed a lot of throws. He didn't see a lot of throws. And he ran a little bit too much. That's what people do. But this year, based on everything that we've seen in Minnesota, we respect Hurts' ability to run and pass. And the one good thing that I saw was most of the time, there were a couple, I think he had 3 or 4 RPOs. Most of the time, though, he was running to get himself out of trouble. I have no problem with that. 17 times is way too much. That's a scheme thing. You got to, when we get more film on opponents and we can game plan a little bit more, We got to get them hot routes together so he doesn't have to run so much. I don't want Jalen Hurts taking unnecessary shots. And it seems like running quarterbacks, they can say they protect them all they want to. It doesn't happen. He took 3 extra shots against Detroit. One of them was called. The other 2 were not. So you all saw the one that where the captain got kicked out of the game. The other 2, not so much, but sometimes it doesn't take much. Those times where he was scrambling out, didn't have nowhere to go, so he just threw the ball forward to get an incomplete pass. That was actually smart. What I don't like to see is while he's scrambling, the people behind him are diving for his ankles. That's how you get rolled up. That's how you roll up on your ankle, and you know now you got to tweak. You done tweaked your ankle, and now you're not at full speed. Now you can't make those cuts. All of that kind of stuff comes into play. Get your butt out of bounds, throw the ball away, and don't even flirt with taking a hit. You got to do what you got to do a lot of the times, but just protect yourself. Vikings have a linebacker able to contain Hurts scrambling. It will be up to him to say. Everybody says that. You can contain if you know what he's going to do. But if let's say that Minnesota puts a spy on him, right? Let's say that Minnesota puts a spy on him. That means somebody's open in coverage. So you got to pick your poison. That's the one good thing about Jalen Hurts. You got to pick your poison. If you spy on him, then you got to spy him. And even if you do spy him, you still got to get him. And it's very easy to figure out who the spy is. So if you're going to put a spy on Jalen Hurts, somebody's going to be open. That leaves it open for tight end screens, running back screens, right across the middle. If Jalen takes off to the left and throws a little hook screen to a strong side tight end or the weak side running back, curling it up right behind the defensive tackle or the nose or anything like that, everybody's vacating and following Jalen. So all he has to do is get him out, clear him out, because everybody's coming after him, and throw it right back. So you got to respect them one way or the other, and you got to pick your poison. So you might get them sometimes, but that means we can get you too. So even though you got somebody that can deal with that, they're probably not as fast as Jalen, and you still got other responsibilities that you got to worry about. Now watch this. This is why everybody's why people respect Jalen. Watch what happens. So you got Charles Harris is on as that left side defensive end for Detroit, number 53. He's to the left of 54. All right. He's the defensive end. This is a handoff to Miles Sanders. But because his job is to watch Jalen Hurts, watch how it freezes him. He should make the tackle for no gain. He's got Sanders dead to rights. But because he hesitates for that half a second, Sanders runs right past him and ends up being an 8-yard gain. Watch what happens. Watch 53 on that left edge. Watch how Jalen Hurts freezes him with the threat of the RPO. Watch him freeze. He had him dead to rights. That should have been a tackle for a loss or at best a 1 or maybe a 2-yard gain. But because he freezes, because he doesn't know what Jalen Hurts is going to do, he pops off 8 yards. He didn't know what to do. That's the threat that Jalen Hurts gives you. Everybody has that fear right there. Everybody. So you gotta pick your poison if you're gonna spy on Jalen Hurts. So we'll see what's gonna happen. Just again, one step into him solidifying the fact that he is that guy and he's reading the defenses. I still think that he is some of the reads he was hitting AJ Brown. Like AJ Brown was like, you running the slant, I'm gonna hit you, period. Because some of those balls he was throwing to AJ, I think I saw 2 or 3 passes where I was like, you throwing into trouble, but he trusted AJ to make it. And he put the ball on the money. He put it in a small window. AJ caught it, and AJ's yards after catch is ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if he leads the league with yards after catch this year. I would not be surprised. So, but one of the things we got to deal with this week, because everybody's been talking about it, is the big man. Got to deal with the big man. Now, this week, the Viking starting center is Garrett Bradbury. He is listed at 6'3", 300 pounds. I don't think he is 300 pounds. I would look at him at maybe 290 at best. And I don't know when these pictures were taken, probably last year sometime. So he's not a huge guy, right? He's kind of like Kelsey is. Kelsey's probably what, 275, 280? He strikes me as that type of guy. They got him listed at 300. I don't see that. You got Jordan Davis, that's a verified 340 pounds. If he had a good week on the treadmill, okay, maybe he's 335, 330. I'll give you 330, but let's just assume he's probably 340. So now you got almost a 50-pound difference right on top of him. You got to go with that. You got to go with that. If not just for the matchup, you talking about physics. The boy is strong as an ox. He can drive you backwards, or at least when you stalemate an offensive line, you win. If you are running the ball and you get a stalemate, defense wins. Because that means that the defensive guy has not moved and he's still in the hole. And as a running back, when you get the ball, you're looking at a spot. And if all I'm seeing is the back of my center, that means he hasn't moved anywhere. And I got to look for somewhere else to go. So sometimes you don't have to blow your man off the ball, but if you can stalemate him, extend your hands, and you got everybody's when we were in camp, everybody saw the video of Jordan Davis going up against Juergens and driving him backwards and had his arms extended, and he can win. He can win that battle. He can win that battle. If you look at, check this out right here. Watch Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is going to get double teamed. Y'all can't see my mouse, but Jordan Davis is a nose guard over the center, right? He's in a strong technique because he's on the tight end side. He's going to shift over, but he gets double teamed by the center and the right guard, and then the center goes up to the linebacker. But watch Jordan Davis stalemate the guard, and watch what the running back does. The running back hesitates because there's no hole. The guard didn't get any movement on Jordan Davis. He stalemated him. So the guard literally is in the hole. And it causes the number 30, the running back, to hesitate for about half a second. And because of that hesitation, Fletcher Cox swims his man and makes the tackle behind the line. So watch how this works. Watch him stalemate him. So he ends up getting what? A 1 yard, 2 yard gain max. He stalemates the center tries to take him to the right out of the hole, and then the guard comes over to try to finish him off. But he's trying to wheel his hips around so he can get his that's what they tell you as an offensive lineman. You want your butt to the hole. But he can't wheel around and push Jordan Davis out of there. And it causes that little hesitation with number 30, and that's just enough time for Fletch to get in there and make the tackle. Sometimes you ain't got to make the play to make the play. He does that, and now you telling me he's going to go up against a center that's 50 pounds lighter than he is? Come on, man. You got to put a game plan together for the people that you got. Put that boy in the game. Get that boy about 35 to 40% of the snaps and let him do work. You ain't never going to see what you got until you get him in the game. Put his feet to the fire. If we find out he don't have no conditioning and you got to put him on a treadmill, do what you got to do, but you can't do that until you find out in the fire. Put him in the game, take his lumps. So we got, like I said, sometimes you don't have to make a play to make a play. You free up somebody else to make a play because they're spending too much time worried about you. So lot of stuff to go, man. So I'm looking for Jordan Davis to play a lot because it doesn't make sense for him not to. There's no excuse for him not to play against a center that's 40 pounds lighter than you, probably not as strong as you. Dude, you got to make it happen. Got to make it happen. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is a problem. That is not anything new. That is not anything new. Justin Jefferson, 9 for 184 yards and 2 tutties. 5 catches with 20-plus yards. Those are the explosive plays that they talk about now and all of the metrics and all of the kind of stuff, the stats and all that kind of stuff. 25 plays with 20-plus yards. That's making it happen. Kirk Cousins, 23 for 32, 277, 2 tutties, no picks, QBR of 118.9. He's also 2-9 on Monday Night Football. I don't know if that's going to come into play, but people like to put that stat. Over his career, he's 2-9 on Monday Night Football. But that doesn't mean, you go back and look at the stats on those Monday Night Football games, doesn't mean he didn't have a good game. Justin Jefferson is the one we got to take care of. If you can get in Kirk Cousins' face, get him off his spot, I think we'll be okay. We are not going to stop Justin Jefferson. That ain't happening, man. We are not going to stop Justin Jefferson. We have to contain him. He is going to get his. Just like I expect A.J. Brown is going to get his. So we got even the Vikings, everybody's going to be concentrating on Justin Jefferson. What does that leave? That leaves Thielen and KJ Osborne. People in Minnesota are expecting a big game out of KJ Osborne. Most of y'all probably don't even know who KJ Osborne is. If we don't play our cards right, KJ Osborne is going to be the open man all night. But I would take our cornerbacks over KJ Osborne. So again, it comes down to scheme. Can you get him off of his spot? Does he have to scramble a little bit? Can you get him in motion? What kind of quarterback is he if he's got to run around a little bit? If he stands in the pocket, yes, he's going to light you up. Yes, he's going to light you up. We got to get pressure on him. But we say the same thing about every team we play. You got to get pressure on a quarterback regardless of who you playing, regardless of who their receivers are. So that's just, we got to watch out for Thielen. Thielen can take you to the house. Not to mention, after that performance by Swift in Detroit, what do you think the Vikings are looking to do with Dalvin Cook? Dalvin Cook is a problem too. And you don't think they're going to trap us again? They're going to run them same off-tackle trap plays just like Detroit. They watched the film of Detroit and they said, oh, that works. We got to play just like it. They are going to run the same thing until we prove that we can stop it. And they'd be crazy not to. So Gannon's got work to do. Gannon's going to be on the hot seat. I'm not one of those people that right off the bat fire Gannon and all that kind of stuff. Nah, he got to work this stuff out. Now, if we get to week 4 and we still have the same sentiment, that's a problem. It is my opinion that you really can't tell what type of team you have until week 4. Why? Because by week 4, every team in the league has legitimate tape on you. They're not looking at games you played last year. They got games that you played this year. Everybody's got legitimate tape. Now it comes down to the chess match on the field and whose matchups are the best. By week 4, you know that. First 2 weeks, everybody's got some surprises. First game, everybody throws out the playbook. Second game, they bring out even more of the playbook. Third and fourth game, you kind of know what you got, but now you can figure out who plays where and who can do what against what type of defense or offense. You get a little bit more familiar and comfortable with your team and your staff and the personalities that you're dealing with. It takes 4 weeks to do. Not to mention, the tackling has been butt ugly because they didn't hit in camp. They running them newer days. Newer days versus the two-a days. When I play ball, 2 practices a day, full tilt, full contact, take you to the ground, all of that stuff. Fights, all of that stuff. That was an everyday occurrence. And they beat the hell out of us. And somehow we made it to Sunday and we played. The teams, I remember we signed a couple guys. We signed Tim Harris. We signed Michael Thompson. We signed a couple of West Coast teams for the 49ers. And they used to talk about how different it was practicing hard. But during the year, they didn't. During the year, they barely went full tilt. In camp, they got it in. They didn't practice as hard as we did. They would only go full contact maybe twice a week, where we went every day. We went every day. If the game was on Saturday, we would do Tuesday, Wednesday. I guess it was 2 days a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. Walk through on Friday. Game was on Saturday during preseason. Or you'd add that extra day for the season because you play on Sunday. But you didn't camp, you got it in. During the year, now you're trying to save everybody. But I'm saying all that to say that our tackling is butt ugly. And a big reason for that is because they didn't hit at camp. I didn't watch Hard Knocks, but everything that I've been hearing, Detroit had an intense camp. They hit when they could. It was very clear that they were a little bit more physical in their camp than we were. And that stuff shows up. That shows up. If he used to contact, Bradbury comes up and makes that play on Swift. Puts a hat on him. I saw Marcus Epps make a couple great plays, putting his hat on people, and I saw him miss some tackles. I saw Slay miss some tackles. Slay drops a pick. It's like, now we got to take advantage of. Every time I see when somebody misses a pick, at a key moment in the game, immediately I go back to Jaquiski Tart with the Bengals. I'm sorry, with the 49ers. He catches that softball of an interception. And Jimmy G's taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl and had a good chance to win. But because he drops that softball, that's all people remember. The outlook on our game is totally different if Slay makes that pick and they don't score. Detroit doesn't score. We were still moving the ball. We go down there and score again. That disrupts the whole flow of that game. And we take, that's pretty much putting our foot on their neck right at that point. But he doesn't make it. They keep driving and score. And now it's still a game. So we got to take advantage of those little things because I don't want to be in a situation where I know we are, but if you can prevent yourself from being where you really scrapping for that win, if you can take them out, take their head off, double tap it, do it now. But you got to take advantage of them opportunities when they come by. You got to catch that rock. We talked about this earlier, Hassan Reddick. Get him more snaps at edge. Now that Derek Barnett is out, use him. This is why you brought him. Use him. Yes, he's going to drop back in coverage. I know there's no way around that. But let the boy do what he does best, man. Period. It's not that difficult. Let him do what he does best. Now these two are arguably the best duo in the league right now. Everybody's trying to. I don't understand. Everybody wants Devontae to be upset at Jalen. Devontae knows how this works. He knows how this works. When somebody's balling, you keep balling. Devontae's going to have a day where he's going to have the majority of the catches. And A.J. Brown might get shut down. But Devontae, you keep balling. Or Dallas Goedert, you keep balling. Wherever it flows. Wherever it flows. Whatever you got to do to get that dub. If he don't have a catch in the game, so be it. If they can't stop A.J. Brown, you keep going to A.J. Brown until they stop him. There's going to come a time where they can't stop Devontae Smith. You keep going to Devontae Smith until they stop him. If A.J. Brown don't get a catch, I'm good with that. That's just the way the game goes. Those are the ebbs and flows of a game, of a season. It's like that. Look at all of the other catches that the other receivers got after Justin Jefferson last week. 4, 3, 1. It's the same thing. The same thing. Devontae had 4 targets. He dropped 1. He caught another one that would have been the first down, but Mailata got called for holding. And then there was another one. I don't know what happened. Clearly, Jalen Hurts was throwing a back shoulder throw. And Devontae got, I don't know if the DB stopped, but he couldn't turn around. So the ball almost hit him in the back. But that was definitely a back shoulder throw. Because I've seen those clips in camp where he throws the same ball and he catches it, basically putting it into a situation where the DB can't get it. Devontae's going to catch it. He's about a yard past the stick, so it would have been the first down. He catches the ball, and basically he falls out of bounds. They practiced that throw. The problem was Devontae couldn't turn around. And then a couple plays later, the same thing happened with A.J. Brown. It was the same play. And again, A.J. Brown couldn't turn around because the dude was basically in his grill. He physically couldn't turn around because the guy was there. The DB was there. So, I mean, he should have had at least 2 receptions. He dropped one. He should have had at least 2. And sometimes that's the way it goes. But it wasn't like, he wasn't trying to get to him. It's, it is what it is. But I'm positive that he going to come back strong and he going to have a day, and it's going to be Devontae Smith and nobody else. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Keep feeding Sanders, man. Keep feeding him. You guys know how I feel about Booby Miles. Let that boy run. He's the number 1 back. Feed him like he's the number 1 back. Stop taking him out the game. He's not tired. Let him get his 16 carries or 17 carries or 25 carries, whatever it is. Let him get in his flow. He can be an elite back, but you got to let him get in his flow. You saw that kid Swift. That kid Swift was in the game most of the time. Let that kid get into his flow. Keep feeding him the ball. His yards per carry average is still above 5. Let him roll. He ended up with what? 13 for 96 in the touch. So if you're talking 13 for 96. So he had 7.3 yards a carry. He's still at 7.3 yards a carry. Keep feeding him. Let him be the number 1 back. Because let me be honest with you, in a lot of those situations, I would rather see Boston Scott in there than Gainwell, because Boston Scott's a better runner. Boston Scott is a better runner than Gainwell. Stop playing. Boston Scott is the legit tackle-to-tackle inside runner at his size. He's not as fast as Gainwell, but he can take the punishment. He can get you them hard yards. I would rather see, but I know they're trying to, set it up for possible pass to screens and all that kind of stuff. Don't set it up if you ain't going to use it. Don't even set it up if you're not going to use it. Let's keep it moving. Keep that man in the game. Keep 2-6 in the game. And keep Boston Scott in the game. Let them jokers keep running. And did you see the catch he had? Looks like he is looking like a much better receiver out the backfield than he was in the past. Let's keep it moving. He going to have a breakout game one of these times. And don't think, I like him like I like Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook gets a little bit more shine because they use him like a number 1 back. And you get what you get. And Miles has that same potential. And I'm like, I'll keep saying it. Keep feeding that boy. Keep feeding him. Now, I was talking about this earlier. Teams will continue to blitz the Eagles until we beat it with the correct hot route. Expect to see the same type of blitzes that Detroit did until we can stop it. A lot of the success on both offenses was lack of film study. We talked about that. That is why teams are vanilla in the preseason. They don't want to show nothing. So when they come out, you having system shock and you don't know what to do. You got to adjust on the fly. And sometimes that's hard to do because they're also adjusting. They might show you one thing one time, but you might make an adjustment thinking they're going to come with it again, and they don't. And it might leave you exposed somewhere else. It's a chess match, man. It's a chess match. But I think that that's something that they are going to shore up. Our offensive line didn't play particularly well. Jordan Mailata didn't have a good game with the film that I looked at. He didn't play horrible. That was not one of his better games. So it'll get better though. And I don't understand, because you hear this from too many people. And me as a running back, I definitely subscribe to this. You can set up everything from a hard run game. If you are running the ball successfully on a team, everything else falls into place when your running game is working. Because you can go from play action and they don't know what to do. If you keep gutting them for 4, 5, and 6, off tackle, up the middle with traps, the linebackers have to step up. The linebackers have to field. The linebackers are why it's so important. If the linebacker steps up, that is when a player, think of it going in different directions. Just imagine you are a defensive back and you lined up against A.J. Brown. You take a step up, and A.J. Brown is going in the opposite direction. So every one step you take up, that's almost 3 yards of separation that you can't make up. So when you run the ball successfully, tackle, guard tackle gap, off tackle, traps, sweep around the outside, if you do anything that causes those linebackers to take a step up, that creates separation in the middle of the field, and you get those big plays, those 20-plus yard explosive plays that everybody goes crazy for. You got to get the linebackers to step up so you can clear the middle. That's where it's at. Once they step up, are they trying to prevent you from getting to the second level? Yes. Are they trying to prevent you from getting outside on a sweep or a pitch? Yes. So what do? If you in shotgun formation, this is why I don't mind running in shotgun. If you run in the sweep left or right, now you get a running start and they flow with you. Now you drag somebody across the middle, you create separation, you got an open man. You still got to make sure everything is open. You still got to understand where the blitz is coming from or blitz pickup in the middle. However they're going to do it, whatever twist they're running, you get that in film study. But if you can establish your running game and cause those linebackers to take a step up, you got them beat. You got them beat. Every team we play for the next couple of weeks are going to blitz us like Detroit did. I would expect Minnesota to have their 2 best defensive players on the same side of the ball and blitz on the same side like Lane Johnson. I expect to see that because it worked for him. The difference is, what are we going to do different? Is Jalen going to recognize it and, put his hands up and do all of that, or whatever those, all of that stuff that they do with their hands and their helmets and patting and just brushing off, all of that kind of stuff means something. All that kind of stuff means something. You just put your hand on your helmet like you checking your fade in the mirror. That's a fade route. You point at somebody, that's a go route. Nope. That's a comeback route. They get all that, but you got to read it. When you see that guy going in motion and you see somebody follow him across the field on the defense, you see that defensive back or that linebacker follow that tight end in motion, or that that running back in motion, that means they're in man-to-man. Now, somebody, where's the mismatch? Where's the mismatch? If you set a different formation, and now the Mike linebacker's got to cover a running back, that's a mismatch. How do you take advantage of it? That's the chess match that these coaches are going through every game to find out where they can exploit somebody. If I got a 250-pound linebacker covering a running back that runs a 4.4, that linebacker can't cover that running back. He's not going to do it. I don't care how fast Hassan Reddick is. If they got Hassan Reddick on a running back, he can cover to a degree because he is fast. He's not that fast, though. He ain't Micah Parsons fast. Micah Parsons is like a 4.4, 4.5 linebacker. That's running back speed, so he can hang with him. Linebackers can't do that. That's the chess game, man. That's the battle we got to win. And right now, you know, and I put this on my Facebook page, we frustrated with Gannon. At least I'm frustrated with him. I don't want to see him fired yet. I want to see what he's going to do. But like I said, if we still showing the same defensive weaknesses in week 4, there's going to be a very loud public outcry to get him out of here. And he don't want that. Not in Philly. Not in Philly. So there's some things that he's got to do to get it done. So, but we can put it together. My prediction for the game, 28-34 Eagles. I think this week, big play Slay doesn't drop the pick. I like how Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has been playing. That's another week that he's in the system. He gets a little bit more comfortable, so now he knows what he's doing. But even that, he didn't look like he didn't know what he was doing last week. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. Marcus Epps is looking good. Bradbury's looking good. Slay is looking good. And I got to say, you know what? I think people sleep on how fast Slay is. I think people sleeping on that. I go back to when he got hurt when we scrimmaged Miami, and he did that one-on-one, and he had his ankle stepped on. I don't care what anybody says. The film that I saw, he was running with Tyreek Hill. Wasn't beating him, but he was running with Tyreek Hill. So Slay can motor. So I don't know if Slay's going to be on Johnson. I can see Chauncey Gardner getting in his face, getting in his head, maybe a little bit like that. So we'll see. We'll see. But listen, man, thank you guys for jumping in. I'm going to try a little bit more. What's up, Pete? Thanks for jumping in, dude. I'm going to try to have more. I'm doing a lot more film study, and I'm trying to do some different things coming up in the future. So keep your eye out. Check out my page, my Facebook fan page, Pro Fan Talk, and my Twitter feed, because I'm introducing some new things that I'm working on that should be pretty cool. So I'm interested in getting some feedback to see how it looks. So I'll keep you guys posted. But thanks for joining me. We'll be back next week to talk about it. Trying to get some guests on the show. We'll see how that rolls. But I love being the pregame show for Thursday Night Football, man. I love it. This is fun. So I'm gonna get my I'm gonna get my Oculus set up so I can watch the game, in the theater. So I don't expect Mahomes to lose tonight, because that dude he's a bad man. So it should be a good game. But I'm gonna get up out of here. You guys watch the game, enjoy it. I will see you guys next week. Monday Night Football. Go Birds, man. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.